You're the smartest person in the room. You do the work, you play fair, and somehow you're still losing. Here's what nobody told you. Your intelligence isn't protecting you. It's the thing they're counting on. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to see the invisible patterns of office politics so you can stop being the target and start being the one in control. Most advice about office politics tells you to be more political, schmooze more, play the game harder. That advice is for people who want to win at politics. You don't. You want to win at your job and have politics stop getting in the way. Winning at politics is a hobby. Winning at your job is a career. We're here for the career. There's a belief almost every smart professional carries into the workplace. I call it the merit assumption. It goes like this. If I do good work, if I'm fair to people, if I stay out of the drama, my results will speak for themselves and I'll be rewarded. In a healthy organization, that's true. But here's the problem. Political operators don't create healthy organizations. They create environments where decisions happen before the meeting, where influence matters more than output, where your insistence on playing fair isn't a strength, it's a predictability they exploit. The merit assumption blinds you in three ways. 1. You assume everyone is evaluating you on the quality of your work. They're not. 2. You assume transparency and fairness are shared values. They're not. 3. You assume that if you just stay above the politics won't touch you. It will. And here's what that costs you. The promotion that goes to someone less qualified, the reputation that gets rewritten before you even know it happened, the slow, grinding burnout of fighting battles nobody acknowledges is happening. That's what we're protecting you from. So let's start by learning to see it.
Office politics isn't random, it's a script and it follows patterns. Pattern 1, triangulation. Someone consistently brings third parties into two-person conversations. They tell you what someone else said. They share what they heard someone think. They position themselves as the person who knows what's really going on. That's how they build influence, by making themselves the hub of information. Pattern 2, informal agreements. Watch for suggestions that you handle something quietly, go along with something for now, or sort something out later. These create shared accountability for decisions you never explicitly approved. If it surfaces later, and it will, the informal agreement becomes evidence that you were involved. But here's what most people don't realize. By the time you see these patterns, the damage is already done. Your boss has already heard the narrative. Your reputation has already shifted, which is why the next part matters more than anything else. There are 2 more patterns you need to recognize right now. Pattern 3, perception management. Pay attention to how someone talks about others when they're alone with you. The casual observation, the sympathetic concern, the gentle suggestion that a colleague is struggling. They're shaping how you see the people around you, and by extension, how you see them. Pattern 4, selective visibility. Notice who gets credit in public conversations and who gets quietly sidelined. Political operatives are often very skilled at being visible in the right moments and invisible in the ones where accountability lands. Here's what matters. Name these patterns to yourself clearly, without softening, without the benefit of the doubt one more time. Because the moment you see it clearly, something shifts. You stop being surprised. And when you stop being surprised, the power dynamic changes. They're playing a game you understand. But seeing the game isn't enough. You need to protect yourself from it. And that's where most people get stuck. They either become the manipulator or they stay vulnerable. There's a third option, a system. If you want the exact scripts, the boundary statements and follow-up templates you're about to learn, I've got them in a free resource linked below. Grab it. You're going to use them in your next meeting. It has 3 practices. These aren't about playing politics. They're about protecting your information, your boundaries, and your narrative so they can't use them against you. First, the boundary statement. This is simple. State how you operate. That's not how I operate. I'd want that in writing before we move forward. I prefer to have these conversations directly with the people involved. These aren't accusations, they're statements of principle, and they close the door on informal agreements before they can be created. Second, documentation. Write things down. After significant conversations, send a brief follow-up email summarizing what was discussed and agreed. Keep a record. Is it extra work? Yes. Does it feel a bit formal? Maybe. But it's the difference between your word versus theirs when things get messy. Political operators live in ambiguity. They rely on the gap between what was said and what was agreed. Documentation closes that gap. It's the least glamorous and most powerful protective tool available to you. Third, selective engagement. Political operators generate drama to pull you in, conflicts that need mediating, information that needs responding to, positions that need defending. Your job is to develop a clear sense of what actually requires your response and what does not. The comment about a peer's performance, a brief neutral redirect. I'd encourage you to share that directly with them, then change the subject. Complete. Good intentions aren't a shield. You need a system. These three practices, boundary statements, documentation, and selective engagement, become your operating mode in any environment where political maneuvering is present.
But just playing defense isn't enough. If you only focus on blocking moves, you're still letting them set the pace. To truly win, you have to change the field entirely. Here's what the most effective professionals do. They don't spend the majority of their time managing the political operator. They spend it building something so strong, so visible, and so undeniably valuable that the political maneuvering happening around them becomes increasingly irrelevant. First, own your work. Make your contributions explicit. Document your results. Ensure the right people have visibility into what you're building and delivering. A political operator's power shrinks in proportion to how clearly your value is visible to the people above and around you. Second, own your standards. Be consistent. Be explicit about how you operate. Be the person whose behavior is so predictable and so clearly principled that any attempt to characterize you otherwise falls flat against the record you've built. This is the most sustainable political strategy available to a principled professional, and it requires no compromise whatsoever. See it, protect it, own it. Name the pattern, build the system, own the record. Your principles are an asset. Make sure they're protected like one. Here's what's next. In The Boss Who Steals Credit, I'm breaking down exactly what to do when your work becomes someone else's promotion, how to recognize it in the moment, the exact script to use, and how to reclaim a reputation that's rightfully yours. Subscribe, hit the bell, because that's the one you're going to need.